My mom is on the podcast today, and we are doing some Reddit reactions together. I apologize. We're in like a cramped space. So if you happen to be one of our 4 YouTube friends who actually watch the YouTube videos, there's just a microphone in front of my face because we are in cramped living quarters until I get my own apartment. And we also have a new microphone. So I'm excited about the new microphone. I'm really hoping that it improves our sound. So, anyway, Mom, I know you've listened to some of the reels. What we're going to do is we're going to go in here and read a couple of Am I the Asshole Reddit stories that are like have some kind of connection to money. And then you and I are both going to react.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, first one up, we've got Am I the Asshole for holding a grudge against my brother for stealing money from me 16 years ago? I, female 33, have one sibling, an older brother, Dan, male 36. Dan and I never had the closest relationship, even when we were kids. I can't exactly pinpoint why, but it was just the way it was. Our mom was a single mother, and our dad was in prison serving a long sentence and only got out when I was 17. Dan was 20. When we were kids, our mom was working 2 jobs as a housekeeper and as a school lunch lady to make ends meet. We were really broke. As soon as I turned 16, I got a job working in retail to contribute to the household and hopefully save up money for university. I was starting to save up quite a sizable amount of money after a year. In that same year, Dan got one of his coworkers pregnant. Shortly after she gave birth, she was hospitalized multiple times with postpartum psychosis and eventually lost all custody of the battle. So, wait, at that time, Dan was 19 and she was 16, it looks like, meaning the poster and her brother. So Dan took custody. And so it was me, our mom, Dan, and the baby in a 2-bedroom flat. It was feeling a bit crowded and cluttered, and Dan vented to me many times about how he needs to get his own place. Dan was really struggling for money. He was working a minimum wage job and had all the baby expenses to worry about. When I was 17, Dan stole my debit card and bank details and withdrew all of my savings, which was around 2,000, I think that's pounds, 2,000 pounds. He put my debit card back in my wallet and then left the house with the baby and moved in with his new girlfriend. So if he was 17, that was when he was 20. Okay. I felt so betrayed that he would just take something that I worked so hard for. My mom told me that I was forbidden from going to the police about it and told me just to let it go, as Dan is struggling and needed it. When I was old enough to go to university, my dad gave me money to go towards my expenses. I hadn't spoken to Dan since that day, and Dan never attempted to speak to me either. Last week, my mom tried to sneakily get me and Dan to meet up under the guise that we were just getting a normal dinner at a restaurant and he was in on it. I told them that I don't want to see Dan. Dan told me that I need to grow up and I can't hold a grudge over this forever. It was such a long time ago and he was young and desperate and he's still my brother. He said it's only money and I shouldn't be so materialistic. I told him it's the principle of it and I'm his little sister and he stole something significant from me. He said I'm dramatizing the situation and that he was in a rough patch and surely I could understand why he did it. No one in the family is on my side here except for my dad, and I'm wondering if I'm really being so wrong and so cold-hearted. I'll let you go first. What do you think? Is she the asshole?
No. The story at least doesn't, is he remorseful?
It doesn't seem like it.
Is he wanting to make restitution? Is he wanting to do something, like, I am really sorry. I was desperate at that time. That would be more forgivable, like, what can I do to make it up to you? Versus, grow up. It's gone.
Right. And not only that, he's saying you shouldn't be so materialistic. It's only money. Like, to a 17-year-old, 2,000 pounds is a ton of money, especially if that was what they were planning on doing to like make it through school. And I feel like if I were Dan in this situation and messed up and did that, I would immediately be like, I'm so sorry. First, obviously, I would never do this, but I would be like, I'm so sorry I did this. I was desperate. It was wrong. I will pay you back. And here's a plan on how I'm going to get that money back to you. Like, that could have been, I think, some kind of saving grace. But it seems like the original poster is going to be the one who's going to have to decide if they want to maintain a relationship with this person, because Dan clearly seems immature. And like, if it were me, I would probably, if I was trying to save the relationship, I'd be like, hey, listen, this is why I'm mad. This is what was wrong. You know it was wrong because you wouldn't have stopped speaking to me if you didn't know it was wrong. I would like to, remedy our relationship, and this is what we can do to do that, so that you both have some level of closure, because I don't think she's going to get it from Dan.
No, if he went all those years and he didn't try to make amends, I mean, that says something.
Yeah. Sounds like he's immature. And I get it, like, he needed the money, but like, that's not how you go about it.
Exactly. And, I get he was young and dumb, in a desperate situation, but it's what you did from point A to point B. He did nothing. He ignored her, and he's telling her to get over it. Don't cry over spilled milk.
Well,
it's like, there's no remorse.
And he stole the debit card from her purse.
Yes, and tried to hide it.
Yeah, I can't believe her mom is not with her on that side of things.
Yeah, at the very least, like, what he did was wrong, but he's your brother. Try to forgive him.
Right. I feel like this is one of those situations too where men get off so easy because he's not, like, his mom is kind of babying him and being like, oh, he was having a rough time, just forgive him, because clearly he's not going to try and repair this. So it's up to the younger sister to repair everything. But I mean, 16 years is a long time though for 2,000 pounds. I don't know I know 2,000 pounds is more than US dollars.
Even if he doesn't have the ability to pay her back, just making that,
right.
The
effort.
I really messed up.
Yeah.
And I don't see that from the story.
Right. All right. Let's see what the comments say. So the overall vote on this is not the asshole. So let's look at the top votes. Not the asshole. If it's only money, then why doesn't he just pay it back? Exactly. Exactly. Somebody below that commented, pay it back with interest and apologize for what he did. That's the thing. It doesn't sound like there's ever been an apology.
And the girl was trying to help the family out and better herself.
Right. And somebody else responded and said, he could even start by apologizing. That's free.
Exactly.
And somebody else said he should pay her back with interest and adjusted for inflation plus apology. Otherwise, get the fuck out, in the Scottish sense.
There you go.
I mean, I feel like this one's pretty black and white. Like, I feel like there's not going to be anybody who's like, you're the asshole. Here's another comment that says, not the asshole. He said it's only money, then he'll have no problem to pay it back. Look, it's not just money. He broke your trust. He was an adult with a job, living at his mom's in a home where everyone worked. Thus, I'm guessing the family wouldn't have let the baby go without. Yet he decided to steal from his little sister just so he could go live with his new girlfriend. You're not cold-hearted. He wasn't at risk of ending up under a bridge with his baby, even if he wants to make it sound like it. He didn't have a conversation with you. He didn't set up a plan to give it back little by little. No, he decided he had a right to your money and to gamble with your future. He couldn't know if your parents would pay for your education, then told you to get over it. I tell him to pay back your money, adjusted for inflation and interest, and then you will consider getting over it.
It's well stated.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty much all we can say there, because it seems pretty clean cut for me. Okay, I'll tell you guys, I haven't read these. All I did is I read the title and I read how many upvotes it got and how many comments to see if it's going to be a good one or not.
Read the title of this one.
Okay, so the next one is, am I the asshole for asking my dad for money for period products?
Oh boy.
My 16 female mom is an addict, and my brothers, both 14, don't see her much and haven't in almost years now. And just to clarify, when I say my 16 female, that means the poster is 16 years old, not the mom. My dad is a good dad, but when it comes to girl stuff, he is utterly useless. He's also not working right now due to the hours not being there for him, so he's really struggling. My school does provide period products, but they won't provide tampons to girls under 18 for some unknown reason. And when you ask for more than one pad, the receptionist gets really shitty with you for no good reason. That seems weird that they wouldn't let someone under 18 have a tampon. Just gonna say that as a side note.
Might be a liability thing, infection.
Maybe, yeah. My mom used to be a nurse, so that's her perspective. I asked my dad for money this morning because we're completely out at home and the reception wouldn't give me a spare yesterday. He asked what I needed money for, and I told him it was for tampons. He said he hasn't got it, and I said he also hasn't got the money to be doing the extra laundry because this is the sort of stuff I can't just live without. He told me to ask my mom, so I texted her and she still hasn't responded. I asked him again and he lost his shit. I got angry back. I told him one of the boys needed new socks. That wouldn't be an issue. Or if we had no milk, it wouldn't be an issue. So why is it not okay for me to get what I need when they can get what they need? He told me to fuck off out of his face, and the boys had been a bit arsy with me all day as well. I'm not sure if I'm being the asshole here. I know I need tampons, but I also know they're not cheap, and I pressured him a bit. Am I the asshole? I feel so sorry for this girl.
I do too.
16 years old. We must have gone somehow into like UK because they said arsehole versus asshole. And I was really stumbling off of this. But no, oh my gosh, in literally no way whatsoever. It blows my mind because it's one of those things where it's like she said, it's an essential item. She doesn't have any other choice.
I have a little mixed feelings on it. I mean, I'm assuming that the dad is really struggling financially. And if you have to, I mean, you can get by with pads as much as, it's uncomfortable and things can happen and men don't understand that.
Well, it doesn't seem like he's even open to purchasing her pads.
Well, yeah, that's definitely an issue then.
Well, and also the fact that the receptionist at school wouldn't give her a pad is also terrible. Like that should be standard, I feel like. It's like having toilet paper at school. You need to have those sort of things. And she doesn't know what her family life is like if they have the money for period products. So like her getting shitty with her for no reason is terrible, and refusing to give her one.
And one pad for 24 hours usually isn't going to cut it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, especially when you're that young. I feel like you have way worse periods when you're a teen. At least me. I've never had bad periods as an adult, but like as a teenager and stuff, I remember that stuff was nasty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Poor little lady.
I feel bad for her. It's a difficult situation.
Well, and like that kind of stuff can be traumatic.
She's not an asshole no matter what.
No, not at all. And I feel bad that she would even go to Reddit to find out if she was the asshole. I wonder if there's like nonprofits or something, or some like maybe even going to like Planned Parenthood if they're, or something similar depending on what country they're in, to get supplies. So to the comments, again, I think this is pretty like clear cut. It's pretty obvious that this kid's not the asshole. And the comment said, not the asshole. Parents are responsible for taking care of their children's needs. If you have an Amazon account, I can send you some feminine products. No address needed. I do this for foster homes in need. Message me. That makes me tear up. That's so sweet. That's the thing with Reddit is like people can be so nice and so supportive. And it's just like, it's so...
it's not a bad idea. There should be like a supply at schools for those that are truly in need, that they can go help themselves. Yes. Hopefully kids wouldn't take it to do, I don't know, like throwing eggs at cars or whatever. I hope
not, but it's like, it's one of those things where like if kids can't afford breakfast at school, if kids can't afford, like if they're on like a lunch program, they should also be able to get some kind of, help in that area. Yes. Now, granted, I understand that our schools are underfunded. I also understand that our schools, specifically in high need areas, are especially underfunded. So I understand where schools might have some limitations. It's just an overall shitty situation. But that's why it's important to vote and to pay attention to your local elections. Okay, let's see here. Came here to say this. I'd happily buy OP her tampons and pads. There's so many people just in here like saying I will do the same, but perhaps it would be wise to send to her grandpa's house. Dad seems unhinged. I mean, I will say the dad seems stressed.
He did the one from the father of 3 girls.
As a father of 3 girls, I could never imagine treating period products as a luxury when they were growing up. I'm on board with the buying off a wish list. Set it up, OP, and you'll have the products you need whenever you need them. People are so sweet. There's literally just comment after comment of like people just wanting to support her. What a lovely community. I'm trying to see if there's any other worth sharing. Again, this was an easy one. This was, hopefully the next ones are harder. Also, I do think that she should go to the school and just be like, hey, this is not okay.
I thought about talking to taking that lady to the side and saying, look, this is my situation. But then you never know. Her dad could have blown up if she thought they called him.
Right. Well, and that's one of those things. It's like we're putting the pressure on a 16-year-old to be able to have that conversation with a receptionist who is not treating her well, it sounds like. That breaks my heart for her.
But I guess she could have gone to the principal or...
Well, and that's what somebody said in the comments, in case anyone's listening is dealing with the same situation. Do you have a school counselor?
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, you need to bring this up that you can't get this item, or if you don't want to do that at school, a nurse or a local clinic will do just as well. There are programs set up for this. This is a need, not a want. Oh, and then one more comment that I want to read. One of my friends in high school was in a similar situation, and her father reacted this way too. It made me sad then, and it does now. No one, especially not a parent, should be talking to you in that way ever. That's not okay. Him telling the other siblings about it to turn them against you isn't okay either. And further, as many others have said, providing sanitary products is the job of a parent. Not changing menstrual products often enough can result in infection or other health complications, and blood is a biohazard that should be properly managed and disposed of. Plus, it's a pain to get out of fabric. Depending on where you live, you might be old enough that you can schedule doctor appointments without custodial consent and be covered by a doctor-patient confidentiality laws if you're scared to go to a health clinic or fear of him finding out.
Aw, so people took time to offer resources. And
that's the thing, is like the internet can be a scary place, but it can also be an amazing place.
Yeah.
Okay, Reddit, what else do you got? This one I feel like should be juicy because it's got 40.7 thousand upvotes. And the title, it makes me think immediately that they are an asshole, but that's why I'm curious what the actual story is. So this next one is, am I the asshole for deleting my friend's wedding photos in front of them? Okay, here we go. I'm not really a photographer. I'm a dog groomer. I take lots of photos of dogs all day to put on my Facebook and Instagram. It's my thing, if that makes sense. A cut and a photo with every appointment. I very seldom shoot things other than dogs, even if I have a nice setup. A friend got married a few days ago and wanted to save money, asked if I'd shoot it for them. I told him it's not really my forte, but he convinced me by saying he didn't care if they were perfect. They were on a shoestring budget, and I agreed to shoot it for $250, which is nothing for a 10-hour event.
Wow.
Woof!
That's a
nice friend. On the day of, I'm driving around following the bride as she goes from appointment to appointment before the ceremony, taking photos along the way. I shoot the ceremony itself, and during the reception, I'm shooting speeches and people mingling. I started around 11 a.m., and I was due to finish around 7:30 p.m. Around 5 p.m., food is being served, and I was told I cannot stop to eat because I need to be a photographer. In fact, they didn't even save me a spot at any table. I'm getting tired, and at this point, kind of regretting doing this for next to nothing. It's also unbelievably hot. The venue is an old Veterans Legion, and it's like 110 degrees, and there's no AC. Oof. I told the groom I need to take off for 20 minutes to get something to eat and drink. There's no open bar or anything. I can't even get water, and my 2 water bottles are long empty. He tells me I need to either be a photographer or leave without pay. With the heat, being hungry, and being generally annoyed at the circumstances, I asked if he was sure, and he said yes. So I deleted all the photos in front of him and took off saying I'm not his photographer anymore. If I was to be paid $250, honestly, at that point, I would have paid $250 just for a glass of cold water and somewhere to sit for 5 minutes. Was I the asshole? They went right on their honeymoon, and they've all been off social media, but a lot of people have been posting on their wall asking about photos with 0 responses. Psh. I hope he not only quit as a photographer, but also quit as a friend. What the hell?
I'm curious to see the responses on this one.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Like, not saving them a seat. Like, this is supposed to be your friend.
People are so tired of
for $250. When was this
bride
posted?
and groomzillas.
I mean,
1 year ago, it says.
1 year ago, $250. That honestly, I feel like this person just should have said, no, I'm not going to photograph your wedding.
Yeah.
For $250, I photograph dogs.
That's what they say in these bridal magazines. You know, when you're on a budget, have a friend shoot your pictures.
That's like, are people trying to ruin friendships?
Right.
Because you may say that, oh, you don't care, but you will care. Mm-hmm. I feel like the photos are one of the most important things that people care about these days.
People have to remain on their best behavior for these things to turn out okay.
Oh my gosh. And like, even if it was like your best friend, would you really want your best friend to not enjoy the wedding and instead be taking photos of the whole thing?
And to not even allow them a chance to eat.
That's insane
10 hours.
to me. This person who asked them immediately like shifted this human being as no longer their friend, but a vendor who they're not going to treat well, which is insane. Okay, top voted comment is not the asshole at all. You could arrest your health and they treated you like shit. Yeah, 110. What the hell? Somebody else said, like, seriously expected her to work 8.5 hours without food, with little water and no break. While let's be honest, she was doing this as a favor and not because of the money. How did they think this would go? OP should tell her side before they come back. They're going to spin this to make it OP sound evil. That's true. Like, with all their friends, they might just be like, oh yeah.
The only thing I can feel for them, this is their only wedding photos. But there's consequences for your behavior.
Yeah, but it's not, because think about it. Everybody at that wedding was taking photos on their iPhone.
But I would imagine these were more professional.
Hopefully. I mean, geez. But what leeches? I mean, I think that was the appropriate response, in my opinion. Like,
and also she was bold enough, or she was bold enough to do it right in front of them. So they had no doubt.
That's ballsy. I wish I had the balls to do that. But also, like, it's just insane that your friend would do that. I would just say, as long as you are prepared to no longer be their friend, like, you are not the asshole. I mean, you're not the asshole in either situation, but you also are no longer friends.
Yes.
They wanted rates, but they didn't even save you food. Not the asshole. The dogs are much better people than these friends. 100%. Somebody said, my wedding photographer was well fed and I paid full price. That's the thing too that we need to point out. Your photographer, no matter what you're paying them, should be allowed to eat. It's an 8-hour day. You don't need every second of the day filmed. Every single second.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Not the asshole. He told you to leave without pay and you called his bluff. All right. I love this one. He fucked around and we'll soon find out. Okay, the last story for today. This one will be interesting. All right, so we've got 40.3 thousand upvotes. Okay, and this one has updates too. So, we got to go to the first post. I just realized we're on the update post. So let's see the original post. Okay, this is going to be a long one, friends. All right, so the original post, and then we'll do the update. Am I the asshole for refusing to sell the place that I bought with, quote, stripper money, end quote? For several years, I was a stripper. I have no shame about what I did and only quit when I got a better job offer. In the time I worked as a stripper, I intentionally lived as cheaply as possible, shitty little studio flat, living off of ramen, wearing old clothes, because my coworkers all the time told me that they were able to buy their own place on their income, so long as they saved like crazy. Before I, quote, retired, I managed to outright buy myself a 3-bedroom flat. I rented out the other rooms for a while, but I got sick of having roommates, so now I have them up online for shorter stays, but not to rent. I met this guy about 18 months ago, and we've been together since. He knows about my employment history, and he said that he has no issues with it, though he did ask me to tell his family the white lie I occasionally use on my CV and stuff, which is that I was a waitress, which I kind of was, to be fair. A month ago, we found out that I'm 2 months pregnant. He says this is great news and we should move in together. I assumed he'd be moving into my place because he rents his far smaller 1-bedroom flat while I own mine and I have room for a baby's room while he doesn't. Also, I really don't want to leave my flat. It's my flat. I love it. I could see myself living here for the rest of my life, and I don't want to lose the security of owning a flat and having to go back to paying rent or a mortgage each month. All right. However, he then said that he didn't want to move into my place and said I should sell it and we could buy a place together. I said that I like my place. It means a lot to me that I was able to buy it, and it represents years of working my arse off, scrimping and saving. He said that he understands all of that, but we should be living together by the time the baby comes, and he didn't want to live in my flat. I asked him why not. It's a great flat. It's central to everything. It's spacious. It's got room for all his stuff. There's daycare in the building, run and owned by another tenant. And a school a 5-minute walk away, and the list goes on. And he said that he didn't want to live in a flat that was bought with stripper money.
Oh boy.
I knew that was coming. That really pisses me off. And I told him, no fucking way am I selling my flat, and that he never had an issue with my, quote, stripper money paying for his flat before now. or paying for this flat before now. I said I wasn't giving up the security of owning a home for someone who tries to make me feel ashamed about something I don't feel ashamed of. He said that his point is if I sold the flat, then we could get a new place with the money from the sale. I said, wouldn't that still be stripper money? And he said, that's different. And I asked how. He then said he was going back to his place because I can't talk to you when you're in this state. He's gone back to his flat now and he's texted me saying, I'm overreacting, irrational, and I need to think about this realistically rather than emotionally. He says he wouldn't feel right raising a child in my flat, knowing how I purchased and selling moving is the best idea for all of us, not to mention the fact that he isn't on the deed because it's my place and would never feel like our place because of this. I feel like I might be the arse because I can't say arse instead of ass because I get why he might feel like it's just my place and I feel I'm being too rigid in the time we need to work together. Plus, I spoke to my sister and she sided with him. So 2 out of the 3 people think I'm wrong here. Am I the asshole? So let's react to that before going into any of the updates. I don't think she's an asshole. And in fact, I would say be very wary of buying property with this person because the thing is, if she sells her flat and uses that money to buy a new flat that he is also on the deed, I don't know what country you're in, but here in the United States, likely then half of that flat automatically becomes his. So it almost seems like he has like an ulterior motive to essentially get equity and get on the flat deed. Yeah. Because like, why else would all of a sudden it be an issue? That's so stupid.
It is. I agree. My original thought was, okay, well, you don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep my apartment. I'll rent it out, make some income and we can buy a place together.
But I would still question a man who says one thing and then does another thing. I mean, in the beginning, he says, oh yeah, that's great. That's fine. Not a big deal. Get your bag. But then when it comes to moving into her place, he's like, no, it's dirty money. I don't want to live here. It's like, okay, what is the shift? Like, do you not respect me? Like, do you not respect the fact that this got me this place that is perfect and everything we need? To me, the only thing that would make sense as to why he would even be like questioning moving in is if he really wants to own part of it.
It makes me wonder. It's just, I mean, some people, well, he obviously doesn't have a problem that she was a stripper, but he has a problem that her place was used with that money. It just doesn't quite make sense.
It doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense is because he wants to buy a place together so that he can use her equity to go towards a new place that he will then have on his deed. At least that's my take, but I am curious. Let's read the comments before reading the update because I want to know what people say.
You know what?
Also, I do this. This is actually, I'm so glad this comment says this because this is, I wanted to call this out too. The comment says, I can't talk to you when you're in this state.
Yes.
Saying I'm overreacting, irrational, and I need to think of this realistically rather than emotionally. Classic gaslighting. And this commenter said, not the asshole. This is the classic gaslighting behavior. He also wants to co-own with you at only 18 months into the relationship. Hell no. Granted, they're going to co-own a baby. So I get that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you could just keep your separate places. They don't have to live together.
Agree.
I mean, that would be hard, but he could just stay with you on the nights that.
But I don't think she should give up her apartment regardless.
No.
She rents it out or.
No, she worked so hard for that.
Yeah.
Yes. What were you going to say before I read that comment?
Oh, what did I always tell you, kids?
I don't know.
Strippers don't have student loans.
See?
I've had so many nursing instructors tell me that.
She's worked really hard for this. And it sounds like he's just completely disrespecting her and acting like it.
He's fine with her, but
doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Somebody else commented and said, co-own a house she pays for with the money from the home that she earned with no contribution from him. I might add, he's just taking advantage of her for a free house.
Yes.
Completely agree. And then somebody else commented, also, he's having some bizarre emotional reaction to her apartment based on a job she did years ago to earn the money she purchased it.
So we need to see the update here.
Yeah. Who exactly is being irrational here? Yeah, that's the thing. He's being irrational and emotional.
And I agree. He's gaslighting her.
And she's being completely rational. That's the thing. Somebody else commented, works as a stripper, takes money to buy an apartment. Stripper money bad. Works as a stripper, takes the money to buy an apartment, sells the apartment to get money back, buys another apartment. No longer stripper money good. OP is clearly the irrational one who can't be reasoned with. Seriously, somebody else said, not the asshole, to be honest. Thank you for this. I'm having some issues with my parents. who I am learning are narcissists and about to move out with other family because it's getting that bad. I didn't know that was gaslighting behavior at all. They tell me I'm dramatic or overreacting about everything. My dad being openly racist and drunk or high, or about my disability and many other things, and make me feel crazy. I'm really happy to know that I'm not as dramatic as they always say I'm not being, or they say I'm being. Okay, so first update on the off chances anyone sees this. I dumped him.
There we go.
Yes. There was a whole conversation, and during the conversation, he said he didn't want to be a parent if I wasn't willing to do everything he wanted, including sharing a house/deed plus staying together. Also, at the start of the conversation, I said what a few people suggested, which is that I'd be willing to sell and split the house with him, provided he paid 50%. Yep. And he got very angry very quickly. He also said a few other things, so I don't know how it's all going to pan out yet, but it looks like I'm going to be a single mother. Wait. So she said that at the start of the I'd be willing to sell and split the house with him.
He still has to put 50% down.
Oh, so she would keep her equity. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that right there shows you that
he was taking advantage.
He was trying to take advantage and get a free house and basically a free family, like where he's like got no responsibilities other than making her do whatever he wants. Ugh, gross. Okay, let's see the other update. There's a bigger update. Okay. Quick recap. I spent several years working as a stripper at the end, okay, we already know that. Okay, now for the update. Because a lot of people asked for one, first off, I dumped him. He initially said that he doesn't want to be a parent if we're not a couple, but earlier this week, he told me he wants majority custody. So not only does he want to not have to pay child support, but if he gets majority, then I end up paying him. He actually said that was his reasoning.
Wow.
What a bad person. He also runs his own startup and admitted the startup is basically done for. And he is hoping that when I sold my place, I could also put a cash injection into his business with the money. So basically, this was all about money for him. And I have extensive documentation of this.
So manipulative.
Seriously, I wish she had recorded those conversations.
Damn. Go ahead.
There's going to be a legal case, but I've gotten legal advice, and it looks like I'll be able to get sole custody, which is what I intend to go for. In the last couple of weeks, my sister has doubled down and is trying to get me to fix things with my ex. What? Throw the sister away. Because a baby should have a complete family, she says in air quotes. So I've not been involving her in my pregnancy, which she is furious about. She also told our parents, which I am furious about. So we're not speaking right now. Wow. I also want to say thank you to everybody who commented on my first post. When I first posted between my boyfriend and my sister, I was genuinely convinced that I was wrong. So to have such an overwhelmingly supportive response really helped me realize that I shouldn't doubt myself so much. And that with that realization, plus everything going on right now, I've decided to go to therapy, which I will be starting next week. All in all, the outcome of this is probably going to be a single mom in the flat I own, and honestly, pretty decent outcome. Oh, I'm proud of you, OP, because the thing is, you would have eventually ended up a single mom anyway with a guy like this.
And a lot poorer.
And a lot poorer, a lot worse off. You wouldn't have had, if you had done everything that he had wanted, like the worst case scenario is you would have ended up a single mother. The best case scenario, well, honestly, best case scenario is that she would have ended up a single mother. Worst case scenario, you would have been in an abusive relationship. He would have owned half of the equity in your home.
He didn't want to be involved in the child's life unless it benefited him financially.
Exactly. And imagine how that would have had an impact on your child.
Yes.
Now you're in the best case scenario with a douchebag like this. You got out. Hopefully, whatever happens in the legal situation will go.
Well, she's got a paid off flat and is doing okay, and he's got to start up that business failing and a flat he rents.
So. I can't believe he would like admit to all of this. I mean, it's kind of nice that he did admit to all of that because it's like, I'm not crazy, but oh my gosh, the sister, that's a really weird response from the sister.
Yeah.
Like, hop off. This girl clearly has her shit together. And how old was she? Let's see. For several years, I don't think they said anything about how old she is.
It sounded like it was quite a while ago that she lived, though.
Well, no, because she met this. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Because she met this guy 18 months ago. That's all. Interesting. Yeah. Somebody in the comments said, I have to call crap to the quote, the baby needs a complete family. A kid can have a mom and a dad and still have a dysfunctional family. Mm-hmm. Single parent, two parent, parents of the same sex, it doesn't matter. Your ex sounds controlling and a leech. All the reasons he wants to be together or to be a father are more for his benefit. Good luck to you, OP, and your baby. It might be a long road ahead, but you can do this. You've made it this far. Seconded, looking at the ex-boyfriend here, he doesn't seem interested in all at parenting. Rather, he's in it for the money and security he expected OP to give him, and he's pretty blatant about it too. Raising this kid as a single mother is absolutely better than raising it with this douche nozzle. Yeah, for serious.
You're definitely not the asshole.
Let's see if there's any other good comments. Wow, like bullet dodged. I mean, that's just wild that all of that came out, and that, I mean, sounds like a narcissist for sure. Mm-hmm. But like, she really dodged a bullet. I wonder if they're really young and like, I don't know, but hopefully she gets full custody and it's not an issue. Yeah. Somebody else says, awesome. I think people picked up pretty quickly what your boyfriend was about, but I'm honestly puzzled by your sister's attitude. And the OP responded and said, honestly, we didn't have the most stable home life growing up, and she was really big on wanting a regular nuclear family as soon as she could build one. So I think maybe our upbringing has translated into wanting this whole complete family as adult. Yeah. That's really nice that the OP is like, you know, I get where she's coming from. She's not, the sister's not necessarily an asshole. She's just like dealing with her trauma in her own ways. Mm-hmm. And the OP is going out there.
She sounds pretty grounded.
Yeah, and she's gonna go get therapy. Mm-hmm. So good for her. She's gonna be a great mom. Fuck that dude. Good luck on co-parenting with him, because I can only imagine that he's going to be a nightmare to co-parent with. Hopefully you'll be able to get child support out of him, but child support's crazy. Like, people can owe people child support money and then never pay it unless they get taken to court. And even then there's no guarantee they're going to give it to you. So yeah. Oh, good luck, OP. See, babies are more of a commitment than marriage.
They're a big commitment.
Unfortunately, she's got to have this commitment to this guy, be a parent with him for the rest of her life, just because what a douche canoe. Ugh, that sucks. All right, what'd you think of our Reddit stories?
Very interesting.
I feel like the first 3 were easy. And I mean, honestly, the story about her stripper money was also easy, but juicy.
It's an interesting story for sure.
Definitely juicy. So, all right, guys, I hope you all enjoyed that. Mama Bear here. Everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed having her on as well. Friendly reminder to rate, review, and subscribe if you made it this far. And if you're looking for free money resources, check those out down in the show notes. So that's all I got for you guys this week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Money Bear podcast. If you've made it this far, do us a favor, take 2 seconds, rate, review, and subscribe. It seriously means the world to me. And if you just take a second to do that, I will appreciate you endlessly. And if you do, let me know on Instagram and I'll thank you personally. So got that. And of course, since we were talking about anything financial on this show, please note that nothing on this show is intended as financial advice. I don't know you, unfortunately, and because of that, I cannot tell you what to do with your money. You got to work with a financial professional who knows your situation, who is preferably a fiduciary, and keep in mind that everything that we talk about on this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. It's all my opinion. So there's that. If you want to see our full terms and conditions, head on over to the show notes. And while you're there, we've got free resources for you to get started on your money journey down in the show notes as well, including a free guide to help you with your budgeting templates and budgeting tutorials and investing 101, understanding the different accounts that are out there. All that good stuff is inside of my free guide, which is also available at thelazyinvestorscourse.com/guide. And if you're ready to take our relationship to the next level, also, I've got a free investing class that is available at thelazyinvestorscourse.com/webinar. We host it once a month. It is live. Elevate, if you could remove the part where my dog is scratching her neck. So If you're ready to take our relationship to the next level, I am also hosting a monthly investing class. And that investing class, you can find the times we're offering it this month at thelazyinvestorscourse.com/webinar. That link is in the show notes as well. And that's where you have the chance to meet me live and ask those money questions live. It's a good time. We've had over 20,000 people as of recording this join or register. And yeah, it's always nice to meet you guys. So I hope to see you there. Again, all that is available down in the show notes. So thank you again for coming and listening. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.